Board of Education meeting for the Garrison Union Free School District for October 24th, 2018. Our first order of business, as always, is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I was waiting for you.
It was just going to be Jill.
Our first order of business, our second order of business is superintendent's remarks. Laura, you want to take it?
Yes, good evening, Garrison. First thing on my list is the board member recognition. You'll find a certificate in your folder. Thank you so much for your support.
Does that mean we're done?
You're done.
Go now?
Just some fun facts about school boards. New York has 691 public school districts. Number of board seats in New York, 5,104. Beth gave me these fun facts. Male board members, 54%. Female board members, 46%. Board member tenure, 56% have served 5 years or fewer, 44% 6 years or more. And board members spend time on board business 6 hours or more per week on board activities. So thank you for your time,
Jack,
your good work, and taking such good care of us. Just some announcements. I see Kimberly and Stacy in the audience, and I want to say thank you for taking our kids apple picking. I was lucky enough to go with kindergarten, and it was a lot of fun. Apple cider donuts, apple cider, apple picking. So thank you. It's just a nice community builder. It's fun. There was a strong presence of parents there. So I know, behind the scenes, there's a lot of work to make these things happen. So we appreciate your time and dedication in making sure our kids have fun and learn and enjoy one another. So thank you.
What farm did you go to?
Stewart's Farm.
It's good you didn't go to Barton's.
There's a video, Dan. It's on video here.
No. I meant the kids would never want to leave.
Yeah.
Oh, no. You'd still be up there. You'd still be up there.
I'm sure they felt the same way about the orchard that they went
Yes.
to. Never wanting to leave.
You'll see later on in the agenda that unfortunately our grade 7-8 ELA teacher, Ms. Novak, has resigned. We wish her well. We're disappointed that she's leaving us, but we wish her well in her journey. And so we begin our search for a part-time ELA teacher again. It is already in motion. The position has been posted on OLAS. We have reached out to a few candidates. We have met the candidate. So we hope to go to committee interview process early next week. So we will keep you posted and apprised of our progress. SAT prep courses. Community members and parents have received funding from GSEF for SAT prep courses. Classes will be taking place here at the Garrison School as well as the Desmond Fish Library during February and March of 2019. Can you put 2019? Healthy snack vending machine coming into the house. We will have one near the gym because we know there's a lot of heavy traffic there, and we'll also be putting one in the cafeteria. We'll send it a flyer.
Having soft drinks and sodas there at the
Water,
just water, right?
flavored water, and some cool snacks. We'll send out the menu soon. Did you want soda?
No, I don't think it's really appropriate in a school setting.
Thank you. October is National Bullying Prevention Month. And so we're supporting this movement by using the month to have meaningful conversations with our kids about causes and effects of bullying and unkind actions towards one another. Today, as part of the celebration, we celebrated Unity Day, and we showed that by wearing orange shirts or orange scarves. Or orange earrings I saw. People were very creative in the building. Orange tie. So thank you for those who supported. And throughout October, Krista, our new school counselor, and Jessica, our school psychologist, have been tailoring their lessons, their guidance lessons, around kindness and acceptance. So that's grades K through 8. So we're talking about kindness and acceptance. Grade 8 trips. As mentioned before, the grade 8 students, they typically go to Boston every year for their 8th grade trip, but this year we're mixing it up a little bit. Through conversations with parents and kids, we're going to do 2 trips. one in the fall, which is an all-day Philadelphia trip. I will be going. I'm very excited to go with them. And then,
Good luck.
and then an overnight trip at the Rocking Horse Ranch, and that's going to be in the spring, and that's more around team building and just having fun and enjoying each other. They've been here, most of them have been here for 9 years, and we really want to send them off with a great, excellent education, but also just some good fun memories at the end of their last year here. Shout out to the PTA for another successful fall festival. There was the chili cook-off. Were you in there?
After 3 consecutive years of coming in second place, I've given up.
Oh, you stepped aside.
I stepped aside.
There was a cake walk, and Jessica Van Decker and her family always win. This time they won 2 cakes, I think. There was the scarecrow race. Hudson Valley Seed had a table there where they painted rocks to decorate our garden. There's face painting and hot dogs. I believe Stacy and Kimberly and Coulter were there doing some face painting, so thank you. I also saw Krista and Jessica and Alex there, and some board members such as James and Courtney and David, so thank you all for your support and being there. I wanted to give a shout out to Jean Coons. She took on the Family and Consumer Science class, which is sort of like the new home economics, and she turned October into Career Day in her class. So we've had a number of parent and staff professionals and experts coming in to speak with our kids. We have had Moira Savone with our essential oils. We've had Karen Nelson, Chef Karen Nelson, come and cook. We've had music engineer Al Hamburger, which is a new father, and his daughter have come into the district. Nurse Melissa and Principal Alex. We've also had board members. Paper engineer Courtney McCarthy and her wonderful pop-up books. And I'm not sure David Gelber came in just yet. Did he come in this
He
week?
came in on Tuesday, I
On
think,
Tuesday.
or he was scheduled to.
Yep, and he's a journalist and producer. So thank you to all the parents who came in. It means a world to our students. You're really exposing them to all these different options that they may not know about or they might want to pursue, and now have a possible mentor or go-to person to talk about maybe possible professions in the future. And lastly, just an update on the Boy Scout cabin. We have nothing to report right now to the board. Council and insurance are still working out the details, but hopefully by our next meeting on November 7th, we'll have more to share and maybe an agreement. So, thank you. That's all I have.
Any questions for Laura? Okay, off we go. Alex? Principal's report.
Good evening, everyone. And just to reiterate what Laura expressed in terms of thanks, we do appreciate all the time that you do spend. We do see behind the scenes as well as these evenings, so it is very much appreciated. So a few things that I'll go through, just some of them are based around our district priorities, so one of which is our initiatives in technology. So we did have our first meeting of our technology committee, which was facilitated by Ms. Nancy Romano. A great group of teachers that we have on board, administration, as well as a few parents who have already been offering some of their craft and professional expertise as well. So it's a really wonderful group of professionals that will do that work. This past week we also had additional professional development on our new interactive televisions. So the first cohort was going ahead and getting their skills fine-tuned so that they could optimize the use of this technology. And the goal is to make sure that the other classrooms are outfitted, and then those teachers will then, of course, receive that professional development as well. So then in the area of literacy, we have had a great deal of events, which there will be pictures that ensue, perhaps too many, but I do not think there are too many pictures in my opinion. So we've had Deer Week, number of events. You can see the book fair is still going on. We will actually have it open tomorrow evening here from 6:30 to 8 o'clock if you're interested, as well, of course, throughout the day. We do thank our parent volunteers who have volunteered throughout the day, Ms. Kyoko Gelber, as well as Ms. Courtney McCarthy, too, for just the times that we've done as well and coordinate not only the book fair, but our author visits, which have been phenomenal so far. Mr. Stephen Savage came this past week. Many autographed copies of Where's Walrus. Some I saw in Spanish, which was great, too. So, and we also had last week, losing track. Yep, last week we had Mr. Daniel Salmeri, who came in as an author illustrator who presented to grades K through 3. So we have had some great opportunities to have some interactions with these authors, and we'll have one next week as well for grades 3 through 8 with Claire LeGrand. So again, thank you to our parent organizations for really putting in a lot of work and time in coordinating that. These were the list of all of them who have come, again, Thursday. And again, Split Rocks has been a wonderful sponsor. I myself have not yet had the opportunity, but I would strongly encourage. I've heard nothing but wonderful things. I saw on social media, actually, they do embrace canine visitors as well, which I thought was yet another unique aspect of. So please, if you have the opportunity, go ahead. And as I said, we have some of our events. We've had 2 instances, one in the afternoon as well as this morning, where we invited and opened our doors up for our parents and families. So you can see the hallways were just lined throughout the building, and it was just a really just nice time to just see families have that time, get together within our school. Very important. And as you can see, we have not only our students who are looking at the books that are available themselves, but also had the opportunity to write their own personal reviews. The PTA will be kind enough, they will be going ahead and having a raffle that they'll do tomorrow. 3 winners will then have, whether it's $10 to $15, they will be able to put towards a purchase of books. So I think the students will be excited to hear that announced tomorrow. And again, our author visits, we have on the left, Mr. Stephen Savage, and then on the right, we have Mr. Daniel Salmeri, who were, again, both very well received, and I think that the students just were, in my conversation with Mr. Daniel Salmeri, this was his first time coming to the Garrison School, he was absolutely amazed by just the kids, the conversation, the questions that they had, and really embraced. He didn't realize the size of our school. As I said, kindergarten through 3rd grade, he thought it was going to be a much larger audience, so he was pleased to see it was a little smaller, and a good one at that. Last week as well, while it wasn't officially Fire Prevention Week, we did have our local fire department come in for all grades. They came fully equipped with their fire engines, equipment. They were kind enough to bring generous gifts of plastic fire helmets as well as plastic water bottles. Middle school students had the opportunity to walk through the equipment as well too. They were also expressing too they're always in need of volunteers, so it was really nice for those students who may be interested in terms of just a profession or just as interest. So we always love the fact that they can come and just share with us what they do. And actually, before the first assembly began, they actually did receive a call where we were about to have to perhaps reschedule yet again. So it was a real teachable moment in the kids understanding they are our first responders, and some of them left, went ahead and attended to the emergency at hand, all was fine, and then they still went on with the assembly. So credit to them, and we really do appreciate their time and efforts. A few weekly updates we have going on that again, photographs are shared with Laura and myself, so try to share as many with yourself. So our kindergarten and 5th graders have begun some buddy activities in shared reading, as you see on the left. On the right, we have Tamia, one of our 4th graders, with her Spirit Wear Ready on Friday, which led into our pretty incredible pep rally. As a first-time audience member for this, it was unbelievable. Mr. Patrick Beckley, kudos to him and all of his days upon days of coordinating with students who had done cheers, and he had the staff and student soccer shootout. Students did win. They had a 5-on-5 game that they then played. I do not have pictures of the game that ensued. The students did win 5-3. Some of us were on the field, some in better form than others. The students are very talented athletes. We'll just leave it at that. As Laura mentioned too today, credit to Ms. DiDiego and Ms. Van Decker, who went ahead and organized Unity Day. So a lot of our staff students were wearing orange in that spirit of just supporting one another, being kind, and just really in that campaign to just do everything we can in the face of bullying us. And then finally, hopefully you are, and if you are not receiving that weekly update, the Cougar Corner, there are pictures, community updates, calendar updates as well. So if you are not, please let me know.
We don't get that.
Really?
It's okay. So maybe the board,
Maybe the board.
the board doesn't get it. Maybe it would be nice just to see.
Yeah.
what's
Sure,
Nice.
I
absolutely.
mean, one of the things, of course, we would want to know is how communications are flowing through. It'd be less about the content, more about, how people get.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
What people are getting, how they're getting it, stuff like that.
I'm glad we mentioned that. So
Okay.
good. I'll make sure that you all
Two
receive it.
parents are getting it here. So.
Yeah.
David, I'm sure gets it too.
Yeah.
Right.
Good.
Okay. Questions for Alex? Jill?
I have a question.
I know you do.
So,
You had your question face on.
Drop everything and read. Can parents still come in?
Yes, there is, thank you for asking, there actually is one more opportunity Friday in the afternoon at 2:30. So we actually have 3 different opportunities. There have been 2 this past week, so Friday at 2:30.
Thank you.
Nice way to end the week too. And that actually does remind me as well, we have, in that same spirit, that evening we have for grades 3 through 5, we have our sleepover readathon. And we have also going on at the same time at about, that begins at, I'm losing track of, 7:30, right? 7:30 to 8 a.m. the next day. And then we have our middle school dance, which will be down in the cafeteria for grades 6 through 8. That will be from 7 to 9, so I will be floating between the two. It will be a busy night, a good one at that. So again, nice way to end the week. Not a whole lot of sleep, but
I just have a follow-up to that.
Sure.
And that is, you know, sometimes because of our location and proximity to New York, we have both parents going into the city. Is there a way that we are able to sort of build reading groups around kids whose parents can't make it in, or?
oh, you mean for that 2:30 time or that
Yeah,
8:30?
Yeah. Is
That's-
there group activities. I was just wondering.
No, that's an excellent point, and I think that's absolutely something that we can look to for next year. I know it is difficult with work schedules and what have you, so perhaps
Right,
One of-
or an
an
illness
evening
or
or-
a number of things that might, you know,
Sure.
preclude people from making it. Just
I
a
will
thought.
say the nice thing about Drop Everything Read often is when one parent comes in, they act as a magnet and pull 5 more friends. And,
Great.
Yes.
you know, that forms a little reading circle in the hallway. You're not limited to just reading to your kid.
Good.
that's
And often
nice.
that's a great point, because our teachers are very much, of course, will step in and often have a group around them as well, but point taken, of course, we want to make sure that it's available to all
Just
of our
one of those
parents.
questions I have to ask.
No, absolutely, no, it's a good point, good
We do
point.
try to stagger the times to allow, you know, a parent to go in late to have that morning time and the afternoon time.
Okay. Anything else for Alex? We good? Courtney?
I'm good.
All right, off we go.
Thank you.
Sue, you're up.
Oh,
Yep.
Alex, you're back.
Oh, no.
she can't get in her
My
computer.
computer doesn't do anything.
Why don't we give him David's computer? 'Cause he-
And there he is.
There he is.
You get the computer.
Yeah,
Share.
that's what you get for being late there, Delroy.
I think just plug it in.
Didn't pass it out. Yeah, because it wasn't
we
plugged
heard
in,
that
right?
was going on too.
No, it shouldn't
The
have.
city, they didn't know anything about what's going on.
So we didn't have
Sorry. Okay, Sue, now we're all settled. Beth, we okay? We ready to go?
Okay, the September, multi-funds count started out at, $909,099.32. We received almost $3 million in taxes, and then other miscellaneous revenues of, about 20,000. And I had disbursements of just about 300,000 and transferred 3.5 million over to the investments. So we ended out the month at 2,117,931.07. And on the investment accounts, we started out the month at 3,677,816.02. Again, we only had some minor interest increases of $2,558, and you can see the transfer there of the $3,500,000, and so we ended out the month at $7,108,374.43 in the treasurer's reports.
Okay. Do I have to act on that? Beth, do I have to act on this? Or,
You do have to approve it.
Yeah.
There should be.
a question, it says, reads September, month ended September 2018. Although our taxes are due October 1, do we register the taxes as September?
Well, this is just the taxes that came in. Taxes are still
Oh,
coming
okay,
in.
thank you.
So the
Obviously.
5.296 million that
Got
came in is reported here as income. But yes, there's actually still taxes coming in. I collect taxes until October 31st, and then it's handed over to the county. And they they're the ones that will re-levy anybody that didn't pay their taxes
Okay, great.
by October.
All right, then.
31st.
Be resolved, the Board of Education accept the Treasury report.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Vote. We need a
All
vote.
in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's what we said.
Yeah.
Thank
Will we-
you. Nays, abstentions, conscientious objectors. Okay, off we go.
And so the budget, we have the budget status, revenue status, warrant reports, looking at those, pretty much business as usual. So unless there's any specific questions, I can go on to the refund of taxes.
We got it. Okay.
And this is just, people, just to give a brief explanation of, anybody that lives in the area, if they decide that their assessments may be off, they can go to, court and try to get their assessment lowered. So we have two refunds here, one for the 2016, 2017 year, and then one for this current year. So this is actually just, got the judgments in, starting to get them in. These are the only three that, we're obligated to pay.
Okay. So, be it resolved, the Board of Education accept this approval or of refund of taxes, right? Approve the refund of taxes totaling $1,667.46 according to the decision and order of the court dated May 18th, 2018. Okay?
So moved. Just
Second.
want to put the figures in there?
Do I?
I don't know, it's up to you, I don't know.
I don't think so. I did the sum, right?
The sum is
Sum is
totals
satisfactory.
of all of it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Okay. Passes. Okey dokey. Consent agenda. Alrighty. Be it resolved, the Board of Education accept the consent agenda items B through G, of item 5, B through G, as presented. So what are we gonna do? We need so moved, right?
So moved.
Second?
Seconded.
Excellent. Now we're getting it. Got the rhythm. Okay, so we're accepting the minutes of October, right? Let me see, what does that read? That doesn't read anything. Isn't that what I do? What do
Yeah.
I do at this point?
Well, yeah, it's in our packet, the minutes.
Yeah, the minutes of October 10th,
Yeah.
2018.
And then you go to the next one.
Right. Hereby, was it be resolved that the Board of Education accepts the CSE recommendations of October 24th, 2018. Be it resolved that the Board of Education accept the resignation of part-time English teacher Amy Novak from the part-time .56 FTE position of English teacher effective at the close of business on October 16th, 2018. And be it resolved that the Board of Education rescind the appointment of Marjorie Gugliano as a mentor for the 2018-2019 school year. Be it further resolved that the Board of Education approve the appointment of Leslie D'Onofrio as a mentor for the 2018-19 school year at a stipend to be determined upon completion of contract negotiations. And be it resolved that the Board of Education approve the 2017-2018 contract for health and welfare services with Haldane Central School District for 28 students for a total cost of $32,024.72. Is that it?
Yep, that's it. No.
So if we decline to accept the resignation of Ms. Novak, would she stay?
No.
But it's always good to ask.
Yes, yeah.
So Laura's gonna explain. So that's because she left, and then there was the replacement.
We're working on a replacement.
Working on a replacement, as mentioned in the superintendent's remarks. Any questions about any of those points of interest or concerns, items?
The rescinding of the mentor for
Yeah.
Ms. Juliana, what's that about?
That, so the appointment of it was for our new teacher, Sarah Stevenson, who just arrived, fifth grade teacher, and Leslie decided to step in or step up to be her mentor. So contractually, it is a tenured teacher within the district to become. So Marjorie stepped in because there wasn't anybody at that time.
And
She was willing to do it.
I don't mean to step on your words, but we previously approved it, so now we have to rescind it.
Got it.
Yes, yes. But of course, Marjorie is going to support her formally, in any way she can. So that's what we do. We help each other.
28 students, the total cost of $32,000. Is that typical, roughly?
It's on the high end, I'd say, compared to other school districts. I mean, every health and welfare services, when we get those bills, they can run from $700 to $1,200. So
Okay.
I would say they're a little bit on the high end, but I did check the numbers.
Okey dokey.
For 28 students, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's it seems to me a little higher than other districts.
And the number of students this is
Yes.
the Manitou School.
Yeah, that's
These are
part
all
of
our
it, right?
students that are going there, so the number's high.
It's also our high school students, correct?
No,
No, it's not our high school?
no, not in this case. This
How do we
is,
cover that? How do we cover high school's health and welfare?
well, because we pay tuition to the,
That's wrapped up in the tuition.
so it's wrapped up into the tuition. The health and welfare is usually for non-public schools within a district's boundaries.
Right. Okay. So that's, all right. All in favor? We didn't vote yet. Do we have any questions? No, we're good. All in favor? Aye. Okay, I'm a little rusty at this. All right. Action item. Approve appointment of a long-term substitute teacher. Let's see, whereas the Board of Education is in need of a certified special education teacher to fill a long-term leave of absence, and whereas Jody Folster was the only qualified candidate for such position, and whereas due to the extenuating circumstances of this position, the initial substitute pay set forth in the current board policy is not sufficient. Therefore, the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District approves the appointment and employment of Jody Folster effective October 19, 2018 as a long-term substitute special education teacher to fill a leave of absence. Ms. Folster will be paid at the rate of $130 per day from the first day of employment for the first 20 days, amending the initial payment amount set forth in policy 6221, long-term teacher substitutes, for Ms. Folster's appointment as a long-term substitute only. Wow, what a sentence. Commencing on the 21st
Sounds like poetry to me.
day of her, I can do it in iambic pentameter, but I won't. Commencing on the 21st day of her long-term substitute appointment, the terms of policy 6221 shall apply. So just to break it down in layman's terms, and layman's terms.
So moved. Do we have to so move on this one?
So moved.
Seconded.
There we go. And any questions? Laura, I have a question. You want to explain why we're augmenting the policy for this particular
Yes, it was a
individual?
very difficult position, a very difficult search in finding a candidate who was certified and would be able to provide the services that our students need in the special ed department. So we needed to offer some more money to get this qualified person in this very difficult search. So the policy is a 3-tiered policy. It starts out with $85 per day for the first 20 days, and then it goes to $150, and then it's
1/200th is BA step 1.
which is about $200.
It's about $285 a day right now. I mean, it will depend on.
So we needed somebody to come in and hit the ground running, because we're now moving into November, so we really need this person.
You wanted to capture a candidate, is that the deal?
Correct.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, we need to vote on it, right?
We have to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Nays? Abstentions. Public comment. Public? Unbelievable. Board member comment. Board?
Four.
report. I
A long day.
want to thank Courtney and Kyoko and everyone involved in this very special week, and all the effort and all the anxiety and all the sweat and all the grievance that it brings. We thank you tremendously for it. It's very enriching. I am especially happy that Split Rock, our new local bookstore, is involved. Kudos to them. It's an excellent, in my judgment, it's an excellent bookstore, and I'm happy that it's in the community. Right there on Main Street, Cold Spring. Bring your dog.
Can I add something to that?
Yes.
Also, Melissa Harris, who works in the library, she has partnered with Split Rock for birthday books. So you can go on to Split Rock's
That's
website,
great.
and there's a list of books that she has identified as high interest to enhance the collection here. And then the students will get a little plate in the front of the book that's purchased by their parents, and they'll have their name and the date of their birthday on it. So it's a way to build up the library, but also to foster the love of reading and recognize kids and celebrate them. So I think it's an all-around good thing to do.
Yeah. It's a terrific thing. Any other comments that the board may have? We have a full
Do
slate.
you want to mention the convention?
Do you want to mention the convention?
NISBA?
Yeah, NISBA's happening.
Yes,
Sort of.
and the first day is tomorrow, and then it'll go into Friday and early Saturday.
Which
So
convention is that?
the school boards.
School board convention. It's down the city. If you
Yep.
happen to be
I'll be
walking around
attending.
Midtown.
Yeah, I'm attending all day, all 3
At
days.
Sheridan?
Sheridan, correct.
The rather labyrinthine Sheridan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get lost in that place. All right, any other comments? Apple picking,
Mhm.
books, book fair, it's all happening. Okay, great. Okay, be resolved then. The Board of Education, Garrison Free School District, adjourned its meeting for October 24th, 2018
So moved.
at a record time of
So moved.
7:45 with a 10-minute
Second.
delay, 15-minute delay.
Yeah.
I think this is a
And we want to
record.
thank our videographer for being here the whole time. We appreciate it. Okay?
Thank
And
you.
Dennis.
All right.
And Dennis.
Second? You have to vote, right?
Second.
Second?
This is seconded.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
And we're done.
Thank you.
Close.
Don't tell anybody, Stacy and Kimberly.
What?